Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Township of Perth East regular council meeting of Tuesday, January the 9th, 2024. And I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. And I would ask everybody to take a moment of reflection. Thank you. And we will have a confirmation of the agenda, and there wasn't any changes, was there? Wasn't any? Okay. Could I have a Bob moves and Andrew second? All in favor? Carried. And you can disclose a pecuniary interest now or at any time during the meeting. And on the consent agenda, we have 5.11 to 5.113. Is there anything anybody would like? Amanda, which one?
Item 5.1.13.
Sorry?
Item 5.1.13, like the last item.
Okay. Did you just want to speak to it, or did you want it pulled?
I just wanted to speak to it, but I guess we can pull it. I don't know what if that's whatever the easiest is. I just had a question regarding it.
Oh, if you just want to make a statement, just make a statement.
I just see that it's there's a new intake for the RED program, and I just wanted to see if we had any items that we could be applying for it. Becky will be able to recall, but I want to say that the signs that we got done a few years ago were through RED. And I'm sure that the criteria and streams are a bit different, but just wanted to see if we have intention of applying to this next intake.
I can speak to that here. That's okay. I can speak to that. Yeah, through you, Deputy Mayor, we're looking at it from a staff perspective. We also know that the county is looking at a broader application as well, so we want to work in consultation with them so we're not overstepping. The one thing that I did a quick look today, the works that we're proposing on the cairns would be eligible for funding as well. It's capped at 30% of the projects on the capital side. It's a little restricted, but it is something that we're going to look at with our managers team tomorrow morning, actually, just to see if there are opportunities for applications. But yeah, we'll find more information out in January, but it's good for us to start thinking about it now.
Is anybody, Jeremy?
Yeah, 5.1.10. It's a note from Stratford about the SEBA program. I know we have businesses in our communities that are struggling to repay those loans, and I'd like to support what the downtown Stratford BIA has put forward, where they're asking to have the deadlines, the repayment deadline coincide with the forgiveness deadline and coincide with the repayment deadline, December 31st, 2026. And I'm sure we have businesses in our communities that are struggling in the same way, since we are pulling some of our economics from the city of Stratford as far as the tourism industry goes. So I'd like to support this motion.
Okay, and who would you like it sent to?
We can just email it off the same way that Stratford did. They sent it off to Christy Freeland, so I'm fine to just send it there.
Okay, you want to send that to our MP too?
Yeah, sure, send it to our MP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the deadline is forthcoming very soon.
Of this one, and then we'll do this motion.
Okay, then could I have a motion to accept 5.11 to 5.113, except 5.110? Could I have a mover and a seconder? Amanda? Oh. And the minutes of the Perth East Budget Advisory Committee, December 12, 2023, be received for information, and further that the minutes of the December 19, 2023 regular council meeting be adopted. So that was moved by Amanda and seconded by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. And now 5.1.10, the support for the City of Stratford resolution. Jeremy is moving that.
Yeah, I think just the City of Stratford resolution, which just says that they are supporting the downtown BIA regarding their support for the SEBA loan businesses be endorsed, and that we send it to Christia Freeland and John Nader. We don't need to send it to every municipality in Ontario.
Okay, can I have a seconder for that? Amanda? All those in favor? Carried. Now we'll go to 6.1, public presentations, and we have Heidi Culleton, Executive Director, Stratford Perth Community Foundations, and I believe she's coming on Zoom. So Heidi, welcome, and take it away.
Oh, thank you. Good evening, Deputy Mayor and councillors. In person, if there's guests there in person, and online guests, I would have liked to have been there, and I'm sorry the weather didn't cooperate. So it's our first storm, I think, again. But I'm just going to share my screen here, and I know that all of you have seen the slides, so I won't be rereading them. I'm just going to share some additional commentary for just a few moments, an update, and then also be available for questions. And I know you have lots of business to accomplish tonight. So I'll just share my screen here. And okay. So, can you all see the screen in full view now? Oh, just checking. Is it up on the screen for everyone?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. So again, thank you so much, and good evening, Deputy Mayor, councillors, and everyone who is listening in this evening. My name is Heidi Culleton, and I am the Executive Director of the Community Foundation. Joining me on online as well as Mindy Arizides, who is our Donor Relations Coordinator. Thank you for this opportunity to be here and to provide you with a quick update from the Community Foundation, but more specifically, the Perth East Community Fund, which was a legacy fund that was established in November of 2017 with a goal to support local charities in Perth East. As your community foundation, we are a registered charitable foundation with a service region that encompasses Perth East, Perth South, West Perth, North Perth, St. Mary's, and Stratford. And 2024 marks our 20th year. Though our focus is local, we are part of a movement of over 200 Canadian community foundations that are serving communities from coast to coast to coast, as well as about 2,500 community foundations worldwide. We see ourselves as a movement for good. Community foundations are often modest in how we promote our programs, quietly behind the scenes providing grants, but we are known around the world for our investment in our communities. Community foundations like ours operate with a unique model, and I'm happy to answer any questions after the few slides that I have here, but we basically help donors establish legacies for their community, the communities that they love. Donations that we receive, we invest, and we don't spend them immediately. We actually place them in held assets And then we annually grant a portion of those contributions. And what that allows us to do is to ensure that a legacy remains for the community for all of time. Currently, we manage over $9 million in assets. We've had a significant growth spurt over the last 4 or 5 years. And in 2023, just crossing over this year end, we granted $600,000 this year throughout our region and $3 million since we started. In 2015, some of you may remember when we came into the communities and talked about these regional funds. And in 2015, we launched this concept of community funds, local community funds that could be used for local needs. 6 have been established since that time. A 7th is an overarching Perth County-wide fund that helps to top up or to look at specific initiatives that are Perth County-wide. And that was established by the late Bo Sibbald and was the very first community fund that started with our community foundation. And that is dating back to 2004. That fund is still thriving, and that fund still has the same assets that went into the fund, and yet it has granted almost its own value over that 20-year period. Collective assets in these funds, in these 6 funds, and the Bo Sibbald Fund, is currently about $916,000. So from those launch days, these funds have grown significantly, and they continue to grow, and they continue to grant annually within their regions. So specifically, the Perth East Community Fund, thank you. Thank you to counselors. Thank you to the community. And specifically, there have been some families who have actually made a decision to contribute in a way that actually would name a fund within this Perth East Community Fund. And you'll see these families listed on this page. And in addition to that, many, many individuals who have donated in memory, in honor of individuals, and just chosen to do so as an individual contribution. Here's the exciting news, is the goal when we came to council and to a town hall meeting, the goal was $50,000 for the Perth East Community Fund. And I'm really excited to share that total donations have surpassed that and are at $51,699, and we like to be balanced to the penny and 59 cents. So this fund has certainly achieved its initial goal. And while we may not be out trying to fundraise and create big fundraising campaigns, what our goal is on the granting side. So the reason we'd like to see our community funds individually in each region continue to grow is not because of it's a fundraiser. We want them to continue to grow because with growth, more grants will be seeded back into the community. And that's our ultimate goal, is the grants that are placed into the communities. So since we started the fund, we've had an annual grant each year come out of the fund, and there have been 6 grants that have been awarded. So again, when we start to look at the numbers, $50,000 was the goal. The fund has raised $51,000. It has been invested, so it has been making earnings, and in turn, it has granted $8,300 into the community. So that's really what we are about, is about a self-fulfilling prophecy for the funds, that they will earn earnings and they'll be able to grant and continue to sustain that contribution that has come in. Really great organizations and incredible projects. One project we just wanted to share was actually a project we did in partnership with the Township of Perth East, and that was a seniors lunch and learn. So one example of this grant was a $3,000 ask. We were able to fund that in entirety, both as a $2,000 grant coming from the Perth East earnings, and also another $1,000 externally to ensure this program had funding for the year that it applied to us. And I think what was so important in this, we always receive final reports from our applicants. And I thought one thing that really struck me was that this particular program, when I think about the mission of Perth East and the Township of Perth East about innovative leadership and services that are essential to creating an inclusive, thriving, and sustainable community, the impact of this program was to increase awareness for seniors on other programs that you provide, and also really be speaking to the mental health, the physical health, and isolation that many seniors experience, particularly during the pandemic. So to see that kind of impact realized through this program is what excites us at the Community Foundation, and we look forward to seeing more grant applications like this that we can support in Perth East. And I guess just in closing, when we think about the Community Foundation, and it's often at times we are considered sometimes it can feel like a complicated organization to understand because we are involved in creating assets and legacies and granting. But really, if we think about who we are, we see ourselves as a partner in philanthropy, a partner in giving, a partner who takes that giving and invests it, and we're a grant maker. We see ourselves as connectors and matchmakers, helping donors to find the charities that they love to give to and helping make those connections. And most importantly, in any way possible, to be a community resource, whether that's to take a phone call, provide some information, to provide some mentorship on grant applications, or simply just to be available to our charitable organizations locally. So that's how we would describe ourselves internally, and hope that the community will think about us when they need an organization in one of these roles. And being mindful of my time, I think one of the things that's so powerful for us when we think about quotations that define us as a community, there really is no power greater than a community knowing and discovering what it cares about. And we've seen that in Perth East. We celebrate the work you do, and we look forward to continuing to support you in Perth East through the Community Foundation. So I would just open if there's any questions at all for myself to answer.
Anyone with any questions? No one? Oh, well, thank you, Heidi, for coming and filling us in on that, and appreciate it, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening to everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, we have a resolution that the Council of the Township of Perth East received a public presentation from Heidi Colleton, Executive Director, Stratford Perth Community Foundation's Perth East Community Fund update for information. Kind of a mover and a seconder. Moved by Andrew, second by Jeremy. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, we have no other presentations, no delegations, so we'll move to public meetings and public hearings. And the first public meeting will be for Patricia and James Gerber. And I declare this public meeting to be open. This public meeting is being held to consider a proposed zoning bylaw amendment affecting property currently owned by James and Patricia Gerber. Legal address concession 10, lot 27, west part of lot 26, 2451, line 47. This meeting is an opportunity for the township to advise the public of the purpose and intent of the amendment and receive their input prior to considering adoption of an implementing bylaw. If a bylaw is adopted to implement the zoning amendment, a notice of passing will be forwarded by prepaid first-class mail to various agencies of interest and others who have requested notice. An appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal objecting to the adoption of the bylaw may be filed with the clerk no later than the date stated on the notice. Any person attending this meeting who wishes to receive written notice of a bylaw passed to implement the amendment is asked to give their name and mailing address to the clerk following this meeting. No written notice except as previously noted will be given unless requested by email following the meeting. All persons attending this meeting will be given an opportunity to be heard or make a presentation. I now call on the planner, Jeff Banner, to present the planning report and recommendations.
Thank you. So the lands are located on the south side of line 47 east of Road 108 and are municipally known as 2451 line 47. Subject application proposes to rezone a portion of the subject lands from an agricultural zone in the Perth East zoning bylaw to an agricultural commercial industrial zone, ACM-44. The amendment is intended to facilitate the expansion of the existing ACM-44 zone to accommodate additional lands and will allow for a fuel storage depot which will be used for the sale of propane. The existing ACM-44 zone allows for a grain and seed storage and drying or cleaning facility, and accessory uses. So the proposed zone would add a fuel storage depot as an additional permitted use. The applicant is proposing to expand their commercial business to permit the fuel storage depot for propane sales. They've noted that the business predominantly focuses on servicing the agricultural operations, and they're seeking to expand their business on the subject lands to be located in close proximity to the agricultural clients that they serve. The rezoning of the lands to expand the existing zone will consist of land that is located between the agricultural barn and the existing commercial business, and almost entirely is composed of an existing driveway. The property is designated as agricultural natural resources environment in the Perth County official plan. Section 5.510 of the official plan notes that farm-related commercial and industrial uses that offer services and that are used predominantly for the activity of the agricultural community and are directly related to meeting the farming requirements and are necessary to be in close proximity to farm operations are permitted in the agricultural designation. And also that the amount of land being used shall only be a minimum amount necessary to support the use and its servicing needs. The applicant will be required to obtain site plan approval for an update to the existing site plan agreement to ensure that proper access is being provided to that propane storage. The official plan also includes minimum distance separation policies that require MDS1 provisions for the expansion of the existing farm-related commercial or industrial use. The Township of Perth East Chief Building Official has confirmed that the proposed application and expansion of the ACM 44 zone meets the MDS requirements, as the expansion is no closer to the existing barns than the existing ACM-44 land use. The land subject to the zoning amendment is adequately set back from the Natural Resources Environment Zone 2. And the propane storage operation is in conformity with the official plan policies. The ACM-44 zone and the Natural Resources Environment Zone 2, that's what they're currently zoned, and they're currently being used for grain elevator and farming. The lands to be rezoned are being added to the existing special zone, and they're intended to provide vehicular access to the proposed storage tanks, and the land is being used currently as a driveway access. Blue Water Recycling Association have responded and they have no comments on the application. Notice of the public meeting was given on December 20th of 2023. No public comments have been received at the time of preparing this report and up until tonight's meeting. So in our opinion, the proposed zoning bylaw amendment will facilitate the expansion of the ACM-44 zone for land use that will support the surrounding agricultural area. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, conforms with the County of Perth official plan, and it represents good planning. And I'm available to answer any questions.
Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? And I request that they give their name and address for the record when they are recognized. Seeing no one. Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant agent? And I request that they give their name and address for the record when they are recognized. Again, seeing no one. Does the applicant agent have any comments in respect to the application and draft zoning bylaw or the comments that have been made? And I don't believe anybody's here for that. Now, are there any questions from the members of council? Just a question, Jeff. So this will be a propane storage. So are they going to have a truck like them are going to be taking the propane to the farmers? Because obviously farmers aren't going to be coming and getting propane. So there must be some way to distribute the propane?
Yes, I think the intention is that they can take that propane and sell it off-site, but they're also going to be set up to allow people to come there and fill up whatever vehicles they need propane use for.
Okay. No other questions? Council will consider a resolution regarding the planning report recommendations following the conclusion of the public meeting. Bylaw 2112023 to implement the approval of the zoning application will be considered later within the council agenda. Okay, we'll do our second one now. The public meeting is being held to consider a proposed zoning bylaw amendment affecting property currently owned by Daniel and Kara Leaskow. Legal address, concession 4, lot 1, 4426 Wilmot East Doak Road. This meeting is an opportunity for the township to advise the public of the purpose and intent of the amendment and receive their input prior to considering adoption of an implementing bylaw. And everything else is the same, so we will call on Jeff to give his report.
Thank you. So the lands are located on the southwest corner of line 40 and road 101 and are known municipally as 4426 Wilmot East Hope Road. The proposed amendment to the zoning bylaw is required as a condition of the consent file B37-23, which received conditional approval on November 27th of 2023. The intention was to sever a dwelling that is surplus to a farm operation, and the zoning bylaw amendment applies to both the severed lands, residential, and the retained land, which is the farmland. Oops. The lands to be severed are designated as agricultural, according to the official plan. Section 5.6.3.1 of the official plan includes policies to allow for the severance of dwellings that are surplus to farm operations. Policies require that the severed lands be rezoned to recognize a house that is not accessory to the agriculture, and it requires that the retained farm parcel is also amended to prohibit any new permanent residential dwelling. Subject lands are currently zoned agricultural A and natural resources environment zone NRE2. The lands to be severed are to be zoned special agricultural zone A-1, and the lands to be retained are to be zoned special agricultural A-5 and natural resources environment zone 2 NRE2. Proposed severed lot contains an existing dwelling, a pond, and 3 accessory structures and services. The A-1 zone permits a single detached dwelling lot that may be deficient in zoning regulations and provisions only when approved as part of a surplus farm dwelling severance. The A-5 zone would prohibit any dwelling or mobile home on the land, and the retained lands are vacant of any buildings or structures, and they're intended to remain in agricultural production. Both of the severed and retained lots will conform to the applicable provisions of the Perth East zoning bylaw related to lot coverage and frontage, and planning staff have identified no concerns with the amendment. The Blue Water Recycling Association have responded that they have no comments on the application. Notice of the public meeting was given on December 20th, 2023. No public comments have been received up to the date of the planning report and up until tonight's meeting. Proposed zoning bylaw amendment will fulfill the condition of the consent application that has been endorsed by Perth East Council and was approved by the County of Perth Land Division Committee. The application is consistent with the provincial policy statement, conforms with the official plan, and represents good planning. I'm available to answer any questions related to the application.
Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? And I request that they give their name and address for the record when they are recognized. Seeing no one. Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant agent? And I request that they give their name and address for the record when they are recognized. And again, seeing no one. Does the applicant agent have any comments in regard to the application and draft zoning bylaw or the comments that have been made? Again, seeing no one. Does council have any questions? Council will consider a resolution regarding the planning report recommendations following the conclusion of the public meeting. Bylaw 2132023 to implement the approval of the zoning application will be considered later in the council agenda. The public meeting is now concluded and will continue with the regular meeting of council. Okay. zoning bylaw amendment D14Z11 2023 Perth East by Patricia and James Gerber, Lot 27, Part Lot 26, Concession 10, Northeast Stoke Ward, 2451, line 47. Can I have a mover and seconder for that? Moved by Amanda, seconded by Jeremy. That the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report dated January the 9th, 2024, prepared by the planner entitled Zoning Bylaw Amendment D14-711 2023 PE, submitted by Patricia and James Gerber, affecting lands described as Lot 27, Part Lot 26, Concession 10, Northeast Stoke, Township of Perth East, 2451, line 47 for information, and that council held a statutory public meeting pursuant to Section 34 of the Planning Act with respect to zoning bylaw amendment D14Z11 2023 Perth East, and that the council approved zoning bylaw amendment 211-20233. So we've had a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Carried. This first. Okay, that the Council of Township of Perth East received a report dated January the 9th, 2024, prepared by the planner entitled Zoning Bylaw Amendment D14Z13 2023 PE, submitted by Scott Patterson of Patterson Planning Consultants, Inc., on behalf of John and Carol Leaskow, affecting lands described as Lot 1, Concession 4, Northeast Stoke Ward, Township of Perth East, 4426 Wilmot Township Road, for information that the council held a statutory public meeting pursuant to Section 34 of the Planning Act with respect to zoning bylaw amendment D14Z13 2023 PE, and that the council approved zoning bylaw amendment 213 2023. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Bob, second by Andrew. All those in favor? Carried. Thanks, Jeff. No public hearings. Reports, planning and development, 8.11, request for deeming bylaw to D2502-223, Perth East, submitted by Scott. Oh. Which one? Oh, yep. On behalf of Keith and Penny Hallman, lots 224, 225, 226, 227, 228, 229, Plan 334, Shakespeare, 2255 Webster Street. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you. So the subject lands are located on the south side of Webster Street, north of the CN Railway, and are municipally known as 2255 Webster Street. The lands include lots 224 to 229 in Registered Plan 334 in Shakespeare. The lands consist of a existing single detached dwelling that straddles lots 228 and 229, and the applicant is proposing to consolidate those lots 224 to 229 into one parcel, which will allow for a future consent application that will facilitate the creation of a residential lot. So the property is surrounded by residential dwellings. Residential medium density R2 zone limits the uses of the property to a single detached, semi-detached, duplex, triplex, and converted dwellings, boarding or lodging dwellings within a single detached dwelling, a group home, home occupation, a bed and breakfast, public park, and accessory buildings and structures. There's a private well that supplies the existing dwelling on the subject lands. Section 50-50(4) of the Planning Act permits any section of the Planning Act to deem to not be a registered plan of subdivision if the plan of subdivision has been registered for 8 years or more. So you can deem the lots to be excluded from the plan of subdivision as a result of that provision. In order to merge, the lots and blocks must be adjacent to one another and held in the same title. The applicant owns all the subject lands as described in the deeming bylaw. So the planning department recommends that the attached deeming bylaw be approved for the lots 224 to 229 of registered plan 334. And that the deeming bylaw be registered on title, and that the property identification numbers for the 4 properties be consolidated under one parcel identifier. So I'm available to answer any questions.
Does council have any questions? Just one question, Jeff. If, like right now, you've got 6 individual lots, right? So we're going to take the 6 lots and make it 1 lot?
Yes, that's the intention. They're going to create 1 lot out of those 6 lots. They will merge on title, and then they'll come back with an application at some time in the future because they want to create 1 additional lot. So they'll keep the existing dwelling and then create 1 additional lot for future development.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That the Council of the Township of Perth East received the report dated January the 9th, 2024, prepared by the planner entitled Request for Deeming Bylaw D2502-2023 PE submitted by Keith and Penny Hallman affecting lands described as lots 224, 225, 226, 227, 228, 229, Plan 334, Township of Perth East, 2255 Webster Street, and that council approved the deeming bylaw 012024, and that the clerk be directed to register the approved deeming bylaw at the land registry office. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Amanda, second by Jeremy. All those in favor? Okay. And then report 812, part law control application PLC 03-2023, Perth East by Dixie Developments, COA Heidi Fall, parts 1 and 2, lot 89, plan 331, Southeast Stoke Ward, 3981 Milton Street. Oh, it's Puny, sorry. Go ahead, Puny.
Thank you very much. Good evening. With your permission, I will share my screen. Yes, so the property is located on the northeast corner of Milton Street and Andrew Street in the village of Shakespeare, Township of Perth East. The applicant has submitted a 2-lot development plan showing the proposed development, which is a semi-detached dwelling on the parcels to be created from exemption from lot control, being Plan 44R-331. The subject development is currently under construction. The registered plans identify 2 units to be conveyed, which include Lot 1, Part 1, and Lot 2, Part 2. The subject lands are designated as serviced urban area in the Perth County Official Plan. The zoning of the subject land is residential medium density zone, or R2, according to the Perth East zoning bylaw, which permits semi-detached dwellings. Perth East zoning bylaw requires a minimum lot area for a single unit of a single detached dwelling to be 325 square meters for an interior lot and 500 square meters for a corner lot. The lot area of Part 1 meets the requirement. However, the lot area of Part 2 is 480 square meters. Relief from the minimum lot area requirement for Lot 2 was granted by the Perth East Council for minor variance application A17-2023 on December 5th, 2023. Both lots 1 and 2 conform with all other minimum requirements of the Perth East zoning bylaw. So Section 57 of the Planning Act provides that the Council of Local Municipalities may by bylaw provide that the lot control provisions of Section 55 of the Planning Act do not apply to lands within such plan of subdivision. The County of Perth is a delegated approval authority under the Planning Act for bylaws to remove lot controls for lands within Perth East and the member municipalities in the county. The removal of lot control to establish lot lines between units of a semi-detached dwelling is an accepted method of lot creation under the Planning Act. Once the exemption bylaw is approved, the surveyor's reference plan showing the lot line is completed and registered in the land registry office. The bylaw will be in effect for 2 years, after which time the section 50-5 provisions of the Planning Act would be reinstated. Thank you. With this, I'd like to close my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Does anybody on council have any questions? No questions? Okay. Thank you, Puni, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Take care.
That the Council of the Township of Perth East received the report entitled Part Law Control Application PLC 03-2023 Perth East dated January the 9th, 2024, prepared by the Planner for Information, and that Council approved the application by Heidi Fall of Dixie Developments, Inc. for the exemptions of part law control on lands described as parts 1 and 2 of Lot 89, Plan 331, Southeast Oak Ward, 3981 Milton Street in the Township of Perth East, and that Council adopt bylaw 02-2024 and forward to the County of Perth for approval, and that the approved bylaw be provided to the Township of Perth East to be registered on file. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Amanda, second by Jeremy. All those in favor? Carried. And now we move to clerk, 831, an engineer appointment, and I believe that's Eric.
Thank you. So yeah, this report tonight is to appoint an engineer under Section 78 of the Drainage Act for the East Black Creek Municipal Drain. If council may remember, we had a request for Section 78 to replace a bridge or a farm crossing over the East Black Creek, and we are looking to appoint Dietrich Engineering Limited. We did give Conservation Authority a circulation, and to this date, we have not received a response, but they will be continued to be circulated on all updates and project matters. If there's any questions, I can answer them.
Amanda, go ahead.
Just, excuse me, generally speaking, with the conservation authorities, like, is it uncommon for them to not respond? Like, is that something we're seeing, that they're not responding only on matters that they care about, or?
No, this would be the first time that I can recall that we have not received a response. Typically, if they're okay with the work, they do send a response acknowledging it, but this would be the first time that we haven't.
Any other questions? That the Council of the Township of Perth East received the report entitled Engineer Appointment East Black Creek Municipal Drain DDC 2024-01 dated January the 9th, 2024, prepared by the Development and Drainage Coordinator for Information, and further the Council appoint Dietrich Engineering Limited to prepare an engineer's report under Section 78 of the Drainage Act for the East Black Creek Municipal Drain, Lot 17, Concession 3, Ellis Ward, Township of Perth East. I have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Andrew, second by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. And then we have 8321, road naming policy. Take it away, Eric.
Thank you. So yeah, at the December 17th regular meeting of council, council expressed their interest in implementing a road naming policy. So we did a bit of a jurisdictional review, and we came up with a road naming policy that council will find attached to the report. The policy looks to name or rename the roads of the township with reference to surnames of pioneer or local pioneer families, the names of prominent current and or former residents, names of local servicemen, or any prominent geographic or other natural feature which makes the site unique. And the point of this is to sort of give developers some criteria that they can use to submit new road names. Part of this bylaw, we also will be maintaining an approved road name inventory. So this will allow community groups or individuals to apply to council, and they would bring their road names with all the research why they would like it to be a road name to council. If council approves it, they are able to go into the bank, and the bank will also take into consideration a specific area. So if, for example, if a name came forward for Shakespeare, we can reserve that name to be sort of pre-approved on file for the town of Shakespeare. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions from council? Jeremy?
Thanks, Eric. So will we be soliciting the community groups for names right off the bat? Would that be?
Yes, sorry. My intention is to send some emails out to local community groups. I'm thinking the Legion, the Historical Society, Archives, such like that, Lions Club, Optimist Club, as well as we'll be making a public social media post, and it'll be on our website to elicit responses.
And then the final decision about what names get put on the list, is that staff preparing that list, or will that come back to us?
So the intention is staff would prepare the list, but then it would come to council with all the recommendations, and council would be the final approval authority.
Thank you.
Any other questions? That the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report entitled Road Naming Policy DDC 2024-02 dated January the 9th, 2024, prepared by the Development and Drainage Coordinator for information, and further that council give 3 readings to bylaw 03-2024, being a bylaw to adopt a road naming policy for the Township of Perth East. Have a mover and a seconder. Moved by Amanda, seconded by Jeremy. All those in favor? Carried. And now we move to finance and 2024 final budget. Paula, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Before council tonight is the bylaw to approve the 2024 budget, and that's bylaw 04-2024. And just to highlight the summary of the 2024 budget, the levy increase is $591,701, and that equates to a 5.92% increase. After assessment growth, the levy increase comes down to $481,171, which equates to a 4.82% increase. And council will note that the Perth East tax rate will increase by the 4.82% for 2024. And the total levy included in the 2024 budget for the township is a total of $10,578,878. Included in the 2024 budget, the operating expenditures of $17,493,376. And I'll just note on those operating expenses, the Perth South fire levy that's included in the 2024 budget is based on the 2023 assessments. But once we have those updated 2024 assessments, the billing will be reflective of the 2024 assessments. The 2024 budget includes water and wastewater expenditures totaling $2,556,427. And the tax ratios are set by the county, and that has not been done for the 2024 year as of yet, as well as the tax rates from the county and education are still outstanding. So once those are known, a tax rate bylaw will be brought forward to council for their approval. And that concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions from council members? No questions? That the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report entitled 2024 Final Budget FIN 2024-02 prepared by the Treasurer dated January the 9th, 2024 for information, and that bylaw 04-2024 being a bylaw to adopt the final estimates of all sums required by the township for the year 2024 be given 3 readings. Can I have a moved by Jeremy, seconded by Bob? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, Paula. No public works, no building. Recreation and Community Services, 871, Park Renewal and Redevelopment Strategy Update.
Thank you. So this is just an update as to projects that have been completed since the completion of the strategy that was created. Just for council's information, any questions? I'm here.
No question? I'm assuming some of these will be done though, that we can get grants, that it's not cast in stone.
Yeah, there's a lot you'll notice under proposed funding sources. It'll say applying for grants, fundraising type thing. It's not that it's going to come from reserves or the levies and that. So, and the dates as well, that's just kind of a guesstimate. They're certainly not set in stone by any means as well. Again, it has to be approved by council. So just something for us to work towards.
That the Council of Township of Perth East received the report entitled Park Renewal and Redevelopment Strategy Update, RCS 2024-02, dated January the 9th, 2024, prepared by the Manager of Recreation and Community Services for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Bob, second by Amanda. All those in favor? Carried. Nothing from fire, and now we go to correspondence, and we have a letter from Julie Danon, President of the Perth County Federation of Agriculture, and their position on battery energy storage systems. So is there anyone that would like to bring up anything? Okay, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't really have any questions, Chairman McDermott. I just kind of like, I don't know if we can get staff to tell us what a municipality's role would be in something like this. I'm not sure if it's like the microfit stuff or what the current regulations are and what our part is in it, if or what municipalities' parts are in it, so we know a little bit of heads up, maybe.
Go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Chair. Right now, the way the official plan is established and our zoning bylaw is established, our role, the municipality's role, would be with any planning application, an official plan amendment would be required, as well as a zoning bylaw requirement. One of the things that we flagged specifically is once the official plan is in place, is to deal with housekeeping items. And one of the items we flagged is this battery storage, because it's become kind of a new issue. There are firms looking for places, and a lot of times it's in aggregate areas or in agricultural areas. So I think what we're looking to do is through our zoning bylaw is either outright restricted, that we're not interested, or that we put in proper parameters, whether it's setbacks, MDS requirements, things of that nature, to allow them to be in particular zones. Right now, yeah, the way our official plan and our zoning bylaw is written, the battery energy storage systems would not be allowable without an official plan amendment.
Any further question? Did you want any more information on that, Andrew?
No, I appreciate the response. I was kind of, it seems like it's in the official plan. There's a lot of concerns, obviously, with electrification in general, and especially huge batteries. They tend to catch on fire and don't stop. So it's I'm glad to hear that we're taking it seriously.
That the Council of Perth East received the correspondence from Julie Danon, President, Perth County Federation of Agriculture, position on battery energy storage systems for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Amanda, seconded by Jeremy. All in favor? Carried. Then we have another letter from Julie. on Perth County Official Plan Update, comprehensive review prepared by Watson and Associates. Was there anyone that had any questions further on that? Andrew?
Thank you, Chair McDermott. Just another one with this. So it looks like they're saying it's kind of up in the air, but obviously the Watson report isn't. If I'm just kind of looking for the sounding board, it's not the final say. The final say, the draft for the official plan now has gone to it's gone to the province. 90 days, come back, public review. Is that kind of what we're looking at?
Yeah, through you, Chair. Yeah, so the draft plan has been presented at County Council. It will actually be presented at all the lower tier councils as well. And there's public open houses scheduled in each of the lower tier areas as well as part of the overall consultation. The comments from Perth County Federation were directed also to the county. So it's all part of the overall consultation. And yeah, there is, even after the province has received it, there's a 90-day review period. And we're hearing that in some instances, it's taking upwards to a year for the province to approve official plans. So we're hoping, I think all of us are hoping that the official plan can get approved quicker than that, but we are still in the consultation process with the formal draft kind of on the table at this point.
And any other questions on the letter? No? That the Council of the Township of Perth East received the correspondence from Julie Danon, President, Perth County Federation of Agriculture, 2023 Perth County Official Plan Update Comprehensive Review prepared by Watson Associates for information. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Amanda, seconded by Andrew. All those in favor? Carried. The mayor's log is there. You'll have to wait until the next meeting if you have any questions about that. Oh, yeah, okay. And then council reports, if there are any verbal reports from any committee or anything that anybody sits on? No reports? Okay. That the mayor's meeting log dated 2023 and the verbal reports by member of council, county council as follows. And do I have to read them all? Okay. Be received for information purposes. Moved by Bob, second by Amanda. All those in favor? Carried. And now we move to bylaws. We have bylaw 211-2023 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 31-1999, lot 27, part lot 26, concession 10, Northeast Stope Ward. That's the Gerber one. Bylaw 213-2023 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 30-1999, lot 1, concession 4, Northeast Stope Ward, Lake Cow. Bylaw 01-2024 being a bylaw to deem lots 224 to 229, plan 334 to be outside of a plan of subdivision, and that's Holman. And bylaw 02-2024 being a bylaw to exempt from part law control lot 89, registered plan 331, Southeast Stope Ward, that's Dixie Developments. Bylaw 03-2024 being a bylaw to adopt a road naming policy. Bylaw 04-2024 being a bylaw to adopt the final estimates of all sums required by the municipality for the year 2024. Bylaw 05-2024 being a bylaw to provide for interim tax levies for the year 2024. Bylaw 06-2024 being a bylaw to authorize the signing of a cost appropriation agreement with the Upper Thames Conservation Authority, and that the bylaws listed above be read first, second, and third and final time. Mover and a seconder, moved by Amanda, seconded by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. And we have no notice of motion. And do we have any other business that anybody'd like to bring up? Seeing none. Anybody have any announcements? Seeing none. We have a closed session, so we will have a 5-minute break, and then we'll go that the regular meeting of the Council of the Township of Firth East be temporarily adjourned at 7:59 p.m. to permit the holding of a meeting in closed session for the purposes of exception to Section 2392 of the Municipal Act 2001, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administration tribunals affecting the municipality or local board pertaining to a drainage matter and legal matters. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Amanda, seconded by Jeremy. All those in favor? Carried. We'll break for 5 minutes. Okay, now we'll come out of closed. That the Council of Township of Perth East rise from the closed session and reconvene session at 8:42. And I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Amanda, second by Andrew. All those in favor? Carried. And that the Council of the Township of Perth East approve the closed session minutes of the meeting held on December the 19th, 2024. Can I have a mover? Moved by Bob, seconded by Amanda. All those in favor? Carried. That a closed session meeting was held and only closed session items identified, excuse me, were discussed in closed session, and further that a council approve the confidential direction to staff. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Jeremy, second by Amanda. All those in favor? Carried. Conformatory. That bylaw 07-2024 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Township of Perth East at its regular meeting held on January the 9th, 2024, be read a first, second, and third time. Moved by Amanda, second by Jeremy. All those in favor? Carried. And that the meeting of council be adjourned at 8:43 p.m. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Amanda, seconded by Bob. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone.